Hello everyone, and welcome to the Growth Circuit, which is powered by PetionAI Solutions. This podcast was created for founders and future entrepreneurs to talk about what has gone well for them, but also what they look for when they're hiring people, or if you're in the tech industry, what's going on with IT churn. I want to say for anyone that's looking to start their own company, younger entrepreneurs, or even young adults, if you're looking to get an edge, this podcast is here for you as we're tapping into some of the elite leaders in their companies as well as high-level executives. Once again, I want to say thank you and welcome to the Growth Circuit, again powered by PetionAI Solutions. And welcome back to the Good Enough Talent with Jeff Petion. Today I have a special guest, Mr. Alon Shrier, who will be talking about client churn in the IT services. Mr. Shrier is the perfect person to be talking about it as he started a company, or should I say, he's the CEO and co-founder of the company, Bazarr.ai, where they're focused on getting retailers to wholesalers or wholesalers to retailers by building relationships and partnerships. I want to say thank you and welcome, Mr. Alon.
Very much. Thank you for having me today.
No, Mr. Alon, I know you're calling in from Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, man, can you give viewers a brief background on yourself? What got you, well, before you tell us what got you started with Bazarr, what led you to that career path?
Sure. I think that everyone else, I had the dream of creating something on my own. And I partnered up. I know my co-founder 10 years ago. We were best friends from childhood. And around 5 years ago, we tapped into his uncle, actually has one of the biggest supply chain logistics company in Florida. So for there, we learned a little bit about how distribution works. We decided to tap in on our own. And back in the day, it was 2021, 2022, that Amazon FBA was really big. And I think it was the prime time to create our own Amazon style business. That's how we jumped into the ocean. From there, actually, what I've been doing for the past 5 years is building my own brands. Sourcing in China. I visited China a couple of times, manufacturing our own line of brands with our own IP in the United States, shipping it here and selling mostly on Amazon, some on Shopify. And this is what we did. It was a very hard time, it needs to be said. And the pains that came from this type of business is what led us essentially to do what we do today, actually, at Bazarr.ai.
That is awesome, man. Even just hearing that background and for you to say, hey, it was the prime time to start with Amazon, which I think it actually was. When you think about it, around that time was where everything started picking up for them. Now, I know you guys started Bazarr, but what was the problem, the main problem that you wanted to fix with Bazarr.ai?
Yeah. When I take back 3 years ago, back in our Miami warehouse, we were actually struggling to sell the products. Now, the disability to move them derived from the hard time orchestrating wholesale deals. Just for anybody who's listening, so wholesale deals are just selling in bulks to retailers. I can find all the products and I want to sell in bulks to other businesses. So this means wholesaling. And in order to orchestrate deals, my day job was actually crafting Excel sheet catalogs, put in the data, sorting it very well, putting in images, and doing back and forth emails, cold calls, trying to find prospects, which are retailers that want to buy the goods. And this takes on average 3 months in order to craft such a deal. And we're losing money by the day because products lose value over time. I mean, they depreciate and you have to pay for storage, handling, insurance, everything is by the day. So even one day, Alon, my other co-founder is also Alon. By the way, we're Alon and Alon. Funny story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's actually funny. And even Alon comes to me one day and he told me, hey, brother, maybe we should just throw all the products away just to cut losses because you lose money if you don't sell it. And lucky enough, we were able not only to be okay and sell in wholesale, but we were able to sell the whole IP. Wow. The brand got acquired, which was a major milestone for us. But all of this pain that I just experienced of orchestrating deals for us as a supplier to retailers led us to understand that there is a major orchestration problem. It takes too much time to create a deal. where most of the deal is about getting catalogs being deal ready, making the data very indexable and easy to sift.
Yep.
And for retailers, just to find winning deals. So our mission was to create the modern and simplified layer for doing wholesale transaction in the United States. It's our broader vision for the product.
Man, that is honestly amazing just to hear how this actually started from your own experience. I think a lot of people don't realize, especially when they get into a business where they need to get into retailers. You're exactly right. You're a lot of things are depreciating by the time that goes on and you're not getting to the retailers. So that is major, man. Now this leads me to my next question. When you guys first started, or even in your experience, when you started connecting the two parties, so wholesalers and retailers, was there a big challenge in churn?
Yeah, yes, of course. So basically, in our own industry, trust plays a huge role. And this is the reason why also today most of the connections are made at the trade shows. You have to buy your ticket, have to buy a booth. It's like around $20,000 to $50,000 just to secure a spot in these trade shows, and there you have to shake hands to secure a deal. So it's costly, time consuming, and trust is a major issue. So the first thing that we had to handle trust issues is we decided to take SaaS is a software as a service.
Yeah.
So we decided to flip the script. We decided to start with the service leading up to the software. So basically we told people that we have this software that does the orchestration for you, and in reality, in the back end, it was me and Alon, literally playing the AI agent and orchestrating deals, telling people it is software. So what we did there is we really gave a human experience, because it was really a human experience. But what we were able to prove is that people thought and put their trust into software. They thought it was software.
Yep.
And I think this is the thing, that there's the cliche, do things that do not scale. I think this is how we implemented or took this cliche and made it real life on our own.
Man, I just want to touch up on a couple of things that you said that is truly cool. For one, you mentioned having to go to a trade show. A lot of people, I think, that's new, or potential entrepreneurs or founders, or even younger kids that want to get into a wholesale business, have to understand that your relationship is built first face to face by you going to these trade shows, which takes time, and you have to have great people skills to build relationships, right? So that's a quality that a lot of people have to understand that you have to have. Something else that you mentioned was, and I want to give you kudos, was that you guys flipped the script. You guys didn't create the software first. You were the software, right? You guys, what you did was basically say, I'm going to put my bet on myself and create a quote unquote software. But realistically speaking, I'm doing everything. I'm building these relationships. I'm closing these clients, and people thought that they were getting a license, basically, of a AI technology, when you were technically the AI technology that they were getting, which is honestly freaking incredible. Just to hear you say that and do it, so that's pretty cool, man. Which leads to my next question. Both parties, as you mentioned, they rely on relationships and trust, right? I have to trust that, for one, you're going to get me the product on time. It's going to be quality product, everything I have to trust. Now, what are some of the main reasons you think deals or clients stop using a platform that's similar to yours? Would you say is it the pricing? Would you say it's the communication? Would you say it's a product fit? Or would you say maybe it's the experience?
It's a great question. And I think we obviously went through different cohorts, and through the cohorts, to be honest, there were at least 80% churn when we first started, right? So churn is high. I think that anybody's listening, I know that everybody feeling that, obviously first timers and people that only launched their first products or even on their first batches. I think that first of all, the main thing that we had to work on is clarity and ease of use. I think that what people are tempted at first sight is put a lot of focus on design, and sometimes they're doubling down on specific features that they feel they're in love with the specific feature they believe in. But what we learned is that the base zero, the ground zero for any good business is a clear one. So your landing page, the messaging, it first, before it's funny or clever or it comes with an edge, it has to be super clear. Why? So it enables users to understand what the product is about and get the full advantage of it. And I have a great example. So one of our mentors, he's the VP payments of Monday.com. He's an exited founder who exited his fintech company. And it was a product-led growth one. And he told us that a way you can measure efficiency of how clear is your product is by the percentage of utilization of the product. And what do I mean by that?
Wow.
If your product is super clear and each and every feature, I'd say, is very clear, so you should see your users are trying and playing with each feature pretty much. Obviously, there's the better ones and there's the lower end, obviously. But if you see 99% just clicking the obvious place to click but doesn't explore the product, this means that it is not clear enough what you have to do with it. So we started off by making every message super clear, creating a demo video, and now starting to showcasing it in live demos. This is the second part.
Awesome.
So we got our message clear, and now we sit with our users physically. Literally, I will share the screen. I have a picture with one of our suppliers. We went on and did the coffee, we call it coffee demos. We went onto the warehouses, opened our computers, and now we give to them and say, we don't say anything actually. Hey, this is the new version of Bazarr.ai. What is it? What it is? I don't tell you. And I don't tell you what you do with it or what it does. Now you tell me you're going to play with it and tell me, and you can see, and you tell him, narrate your thoughts while you're working with the product. And you see what people understand and what they don't understand. Yeah. And now you have the clarity for yourself, like, okay, I know 100% of my product. They only were able to utilize 30%, right? And we saw a correlation, direct correlation, that the more a user utilizes the product, the better chances he will stay. And then we went from 80% churn down to 50% churn, which is incredible. It's almost almost 2 times retention, doubling the retention. And I think the last part, after it all, not only that we set in those live demos, but each and every user gets a direct connection, either from me or from Alon, my co-founder, to have direct relationship with the founder. And you touched upon it about relationships. So obviously, trust, credibility, and direct relationship with the person behind the software always beats the product. Always. Yeah. And I told them, whenever you need, I don't care if you're churn, don't pay me. But if you decided not to continue, just be honest with me. Tell me. I'd pay for it. Just tell me, why did you churn? Why didn't you like? And even furthermore, do you have a feature request? Talk to me. I will think about it and maybe it will pop on our roadmap because you said so. And I think this direct relationship, it's not some kind of a far customer support from the Philippines not something that you have direct relationship with the owner, with the actual business owner, right? So you have so much power as a user, right? As the experience to be connected. It's the analogy is knowing the bar owner, right? Think about it. You walk in and the bar just bringing in shots, right? Giving you the key. So we brought this king experience, right? You're the king. Awesome. Tell me what you like. We'll do it.
Hey, no, that is awesome. Something that you touched up on. You mentioned, and this is big because I think a lot of people get into businesses the wrong reason, thinking that especially founders, new founders or young entrepreneurs thinking that, hey, I'm going to make revenue immediately. It's very rare that you launch a business and you immediately are making money. Majority of the time, you launch a business and you're in the negatives, right? And something that you mentioned that you started the company, you guys launched it, you guys were at 80% churn. Then you got with a buddy of yours and he told you how to make it, or let me not say how to make it, but make it user friendly, right?
Yeah.
Make the interface very easy for them to use. And I would say I looked at your website and it is very straightforward. It's very easy to use. But that is really cool that you guys took your time to think about that. A lot of people don't realize that, yeah, you can sell an amazing product, but if it's not user friendly, no one's going to use it. They're not going to want it. And especially your target audience, majority of them are not technologically savvy, right? They don't have a background with tech.
Exactly.
So it's like if we can dumb it down, then that's the best way to do because it makes it easier for them, right? Another thing that you touched up on that I really like and admire that you said was that you guys went physically and talked to them personally. You're the owner of the company. You could easily, and I think a lot of people fail to see this as well, is for new founders, new entrepreneurs, or the younger generation. A lot of people want to spread money out and possibly get somebody to do that versus understanding that you are the face of your company. You're going to stand by the product more than anybody else. And for you to even go to these warehouses and talk to these people, but not only that, basically say, hey, my name is Alon. I'm going to leave you alone with my computer. You tell me what you like, So that's pretty cool because that built by you doing that. That basically because if you came to me and did that in the back of my mind, you just built some credibility because you're literally telling me I don't need per se your standpoint. You're basically saying I don't need to stand by you to show you the demo because I'm confident that it's that easy that you'll understand it. And that is awesome, man. Like kudos to you on that because that is really cool. So
Thank you. I have to share two perspectives, quick perspectives. First of all, it's a
yep.
practical one, and it's about how to make your product clearer. So there's a free tool. It's called Microsoft Clarity. And Microsoft Clarity, basically what you do, you embed a pixel. It's a free data analysis tool that allows you to monitor every action that happens on your website. So this means that once you put it in, and it's free, it's totally free, you can literally see every user journey, where they click, heat maps, what exactly they do. And by that, when we did this, how we did it, so we were able to see the bottlenecks and we were able to see when people stop and how long they're stopping and where they click. And then you understand which of the flow you have to optimize in order to continue to the next bottleneck, going one by one. So this is the first practical note. The second thing I think it goes beyond just, you talk about the young entrepreneurs that want to outsource this type of work. And I think that in today's world, it is always personal brand. It is always people first. And you can see the biggest CEOs in the world and you have a very, let's say, a very clear example for that. So do you know the electric car company Beyond? Maybe you heard of the car company Beyond? So their valuation is around $100 billion, give or take, of the company. Now I'm going to ask you, do you know who is the CEO?
I don't. No.
And quite frankly, nobody knows. It's a $100 billion company, one of the biggest in the world in the electrical car. And when I say Tesla, I mean, they're 10 times bigger than Beyond, and it's quite obvious. And you think of Amazon, so you think Bezos, and it goes furthermore. But the point I try to make here, the CEO is always the face of the company, especially the biggest in the world, Sam Altman and OpenAI, obviously. So think about it as that. From day one, you start gaining your credibility and you start gaining this trust from the from the public. Now you think, and I can share that on LinkedIn, for example, I grew in the last year to 6,000 followers.
Wow.
And I got quite of impressions, and you won't believe it when you do talk with the community, when you go out and tell your story like we're doing right now, it does affect people. And one by one, and you find yourself with thousands of followers. And hopefully in the next 3 years with 10,000 of followers, right?
Yes.
So this is how we build it.
Yeah, and I'm a big advocate of that. Is basically, I think a lot of people, they become CEOs, and then I'm a strong believer in understanding where you came from. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about physically where you came from. I'm talking about mentally where you came from. Where you started the company, if the company grows, that doesn't mean for you to take a step back, still be the face of the company, because you are the company, just like what you said. You're the reason why everything has happened. So anytime that you take a step back, guess what happens? The company takes a step back. You know, you might see sales drop. You might see disgruntled employees. So I'm a strong believer, and mentally, you always got to remember where you came from and why you started the business that you started, because you are going to bring in more people. You're going to that. And you mentioned something where you said talking to the community, especially when you're talking to your local community, talking to them. Now you're making a difference, possibly for you, for example, in stores in that community. But not only that, because you're the one of the co-founders and you're the CEO, now you can even talk to kids to get them to grow. And some of those kids, you never know, might become people who are looking for companies to sell to, and then they reach out to you, or even they might ask you for a job. It's just little things like that, which is, man, I give you kudos, because that is awesome that you're doing that. Now, which leads me to my next question, which you kind of touched up on it, but I want to see if you can go a little bit more into detail. Currently, do you see, or what patterns have you seen or behaviors that tell your retailer or wholesaler might be losing interest or about to churn from your company, or let's say another platform?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think this question will follow me for the next 3 years or the next 7 years. I think it's always the question.
Yeah.
In today's terms, it is more specific. So the way users interact with the product is through a chat. And for us, we're able to see what the users interact, or the way they interact, what they're saying, when they churn. So we were able to analyze the chats and understand what happened. And I think it goes, if I need to make a general assumption.
Yep.
So each product has its winning outcome, right? Like use the product for X, get Y, right?
Yep.
And everyone has their own vanity metric. For us, the vanity metric is clear. Like in the most simplified way, a user needs to find a product that he likes. If the user won't be able to find the product that he likes, he will churn.
Yep.
For any reason, right? Now, there can be a lot of different reasons for that, right? It can be because we don't have it. Like literally, we don't have enough supply. It could be because the UI is not friendly and he wasn't able to really explore and get to the deal.
Yeah.
And it might be because of things, external things that we don't understand. Maybe our pricing is too high. Like he found the deal way cheaper than us, right? So the thing is about, I think, now getting back to the question, is you need to find or define what is the winning outcome for a user, right? Only one winning outcome.
Yep.
And then see why the user didn't achieve the outcome. So in our case, I think that the current state of churn is about optimizing the orchestration itself, like the enablement of chatting in plain language and get the exact thing you want, kind of like Google, right? When you write something in Google and you get matched with the site that you needed. So in that case, we're still achieving more and more accuracy on the specific niches when we see that the user writes down. So we understand now what they're looking for and how they're looking for products. and then we build it. And getting back to that, any user who churned, we obviously are resending him messages and want him to get him back and want to show him that we improved his specific niche. So I think in a nutshell, this is how we handle this current churn situation.
Yeah. No, which I think is awesome, man, because it's showing that you guys are hands-on and still willing. You're basically willing to do whatever it takes to keep the client happy, which is awesome, man. The question leads into a two-part question, because I know it's an AI company. Do you guys currently use any AI to spot the red flags before they leave, or is it just based on the chat?
No, so currently we do not have like a specific AI for churn. Mm-hmm. What we do is we do have our own databases, and we do monitor the data out of the transactions, out of the chats, out of the whole, as I mentioned, the Microsoft Clarity, like the whole funnel. Yeah. So we were able to digest it using the typical LLMs and get a great insight about where is the bottleneck. Okay,
awesome. Which leads to this. So I know you guys are very hands-on, especially you. I love it that you're hands-on. You're doing everything that you need to do to basically keep both sides happy. So besides you being at the forefront, I would say, where you're contacting both parties, what else are you guys, or what has worked for you guys to keeping both sides loyal and engaged with the platform? I know you guys are, well, for one, you guys have made it very simple. So I would say simplicity to make it easy for them. But also you guys, well, I would say you have been open to where you're communicating with them. Would you say those would be the main ones that has helped you guys to keep them engaged and loyal to you guys?
I think that there's also another crucial part which plays, and I think it applies to anyone, and I tie it down to credibility or social proof. And by social proof, so doing things, telling my story through you and with you. Yeah. So the more, and I think it is very overlooked. And I tell it for someone as I don't have any prior network or connection, and I wasn't content creator by a profession, but I think that the more you grow those type of talks and you go to conferences, and then you're going to have your first podcast, and then you're going to find it that somebody walks up to you in a conference, and the more you share the story and put it online, right? Put it online, try to find the testimonials, ask to share the story with someone. You can see in my LinkedIn page, I'll give an example. So I talked with Raanan Cohen. Raanan Cohen, he is the founder of Bring, a unicorn in the supply chain industry. And I got a warm intro, like I wanted to talk with him specifically, to learn. It's always good to grow your knowledge base and listen to podcasts like your own. And after I did a 30-minute talk, I created an interview, I really learned. So I asked him if may I do a screenshot and share in my LinkedIn, like that we had a talk together. He's very known person. And he did it. So yeah, sure, why not? Share it with the world. And now think about it, that I have a piece of content that when a user, even not a user, anybody that comes to my LinkedIn page, he's gonna see me with Raanan, for example, say, wow, this guy's legit, right? He gets to the room, he gets to the room, he gets the thoughts. So this guy's legit. So I think that I'll use the Bill Gates statement. I think the people are overestimating what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10. So start today building the relationship, doing the interview, starting posting, and one by one, you're going to find yourself in a year from today with 10 legit interviews. If you're going to search my name, you're going to see, you can find me on the internet. Yep. And it's something very cool. Maybe even on ChatGPT, I got indexed. Yeah. I'm not saying it to brag. I'm just saying that for somebody who's new to the platform and he wants to do his diligence, right? He wants to understand, wait, are those guys, are they running enough time? Am I the first one? Maybe they're lying. So when they see that I'm out there doing the hustle for the last 3 years almost, and this is the interview, say, okay, I can trust them. I'm gonna pay because I trust them for a legit customer experience.
Yeah. And it goes back to what we were talking about before, right? The visibility as being the founder. And people, they want to buy from people that they trust, people that they know. Especially we live in a day where, unfortunately, it's sad to say, but there's a lot of scammers, right? You can
Right.
easily get scammed. So by you being visible, being in the forefront, you doing these podcasts, for example, being part of the community, reaching out to people, going face to face meetings, all that builds credibility, not only to you but to your brand, which is awesome, man. Now, I we talked on churn, and we talked on you mentioned that you drop your churn from 80 to 50%. Now, with some of the people that have left, I kind of already know the answer to this based off talking to you. I know, I can tell the type of background you have, but for everyone else that might not know, how do you personally, or should I say, how do you and your company rebuild trust or re-engage those users who may have gone quiet or had a bad experience and you want to bring them back?
It's a great question, on point, and we learned it also by doing it a couple of times. Those let's say re-outreach.
Yeah.
So the re-engagement type of thing is you have to come up with a great milestone. You cannot talk like as a first operation when someone's churn. Obviously, you send him a message. You want to talk with him, right? Now, it is not a sell call. You want to really understand, and we write it down. Like, why did he churn, right? And obviously, and be honest, most of the time the product sucked. It was a bad product, and they didn't get the winning outcome. So the next time, and you write it down, and as I told you, it is very personal. We keep it very personal, even with hundreds of users. So only when we have such a win that you can come in a very straightforward and a clear way and tell, and you have to take some time. It's 3 months, maybe 4 months. And then you come back and you say to the specific user, hey, we solved the specific case for your own case, right? Either it was because of something in the product, maybe it was something about the supply itself, but we solved your own case. Would you like to try on again with a 20% off? Just to try. Tell me if I was right. And from there we got some rebounds. A lot I have to say because we haven't made enough progress in order to bring them back. But from those that we did, we saw that it is effective. And not only that, it also gives you this bonus credit because those people say, wow, I mean, he went the extra mile for me. It's a very personal thing to do. And I think that most companies don't do that, what I just mentioned. Calling back when the specific reason, I think most people don't do it. And it's so easy or so simple to do. Everybody can do it. It doesn't require any background. Anyone can do it.
Now, I just want to make sure before I say something, I'm guessing on your website, if someone leaves or cancels, it has a spot for them to put why they canceled, or it's just they cancel, or do you guys reach out to them from there?
Correct. So you do have a place, but we put a skip capability, so a user doesn't have to. It doesn't have to.
Which I love that you mentioned that you contact them, and that is major because I think a lot of companies, they don't understand that when people leave, sometimes majority of the time, I what I've seen is that they're leaving because it's not a, how should I say this? It's not a connection. Like they don't feel seen, right? They want to speak to someone about why they're leaving to see if it can be fixed, because majority of the time when people sign up and they're paying for something, they don't want to leave. A lot of people don't like change. That's one of the major things that I've seen in my career, is that a lot of people don't like change. And if they have to change, it's because there's no connection there. They're not being heard. No one's asking, what can they do to make them stay, and for you to even reach out and say, hey, I fixed X, Y, and Z, or hey, let me find out exactly why you're leaving and see what I can do to fix it. That's amazing from a standpoint of a business, but also personally as you, as the co-founder and CEO of the company, reaching out, finding these issues, fixing these cases for them and bringing them back on. And even, let's say, hypothetically speaking, you don't bring everybody back on. At least it shows that you care, right?
Right.
And to me, man, that's awesome that you're doing that, because I don't think majority of founders understand that aspect of it. And for the young listeners that are listening, that's something that you need to have. And I like to say humility, where you can put yourself, there's different hats as a founder that you have to wear, right? You're not always going to be, hey, I'm just worried about growth. You got to also be worried about churn and how to turn that churn back into growth, right? You got to be engaging. You have to be inspirational. So there's multiple hats as a founder that you have to wear. And it's pretty cool to see how you do that. So kudos to you, man. I applaud you for that, because that's awesome, man.
Thank you. Let me
Uh,
take it even one step further. So today, in today's world, there are 20 new AI tools that are launched by the day. And this is a statistic. And not only that, and I'm sure that every listener will resonate with that. Think about that the last time you talked in, let's say, enterprise level solutions, every customer success or customer support becomes a chatbot. It is so hard and so scarce today to talk with a human, right?
yes.
It
Yep.
is so hard to talk with human. It became
Yeah.
scarce.
Yep.
So think about that you flip the script. You come
Yep.
as a software company and you put the humans in the front. Everybody's
Yeah.
doing AI, all right, AI. But you're doing the human part. It became
Yeah.
scarce.
It
It's
does.
it's crazy. You can't talk with humans anymore, right?
It
It's
does. It makes
crazy.
it really hard. Yeah, because even if you call companies, majority of the time you call a company, you have to go through an arm and a leg to even get a human on the phone. Yeah,
Right?
it does.
So
It is pretty
so
hard.
think about this company, right? That goes
Yeah.
up and you click chat and you get to the founder, not to the customer, to the founder itself. It's
Yep.
crazy. And I believe it's also we've seen it, and it's very important that you talked about the growth of the different hats aspect. You have to remember that word of mouth is super strong. And
Yeah.
even the user that left needs to appreciate you, needs
Yep.
to quote unquote love you, not necessarily love the product, right?
Yeah.
But I hope, really, I hope this is my aspiration, that every churn that I would bring in a new customer and I would bring it to a churned user, right? And you ask me, what do you think about this company? I hope that obviously he will tell, yeah, I mean, the chat sucked, but this guy, this Alon guy is great. He's
Yeah.
great. Go listen to him.
No, that is awesome, and that's major, man. Because it keeps going back to what we talked about, man. It's you. It's you. What can you do as a founder or a person part of the business to get people to love the company, to love the product, but not only that, but also to love you guys enough to where they have that communication with you as a founder to let you know, hey, maybe if you add this feature, you could get more customers, or we'll be even happier. And like you said, word of mouth travels faster than anything, man. Like, cause if usually people hang out with people that's in the same niche that they're in. So if you close one person, next thing you know, that one person loves your product. Now they're going to tell all their friends about it. So that is awesome that you mentioned that. Now I know Bazarr AI is built on AI. How do you think that has helped, or should I say, AI has helped prevent churn or make relationships stronger between buyers and sellers?
Okay,
Well,
so
before, I'm so sorry, Mr. Alon. Before you say that, I know that the relationship is built mostly on human, but do you think AI can play a positive role, has played a positive role between buyers and sellers?
yeah, and obviously now getting back that like our aspiration and vision. is taking us off the platform and let only the AI do it. Now, I think the key here is understand that nobody buys technology. People buy a specific cause and job to be done, right?
Yeah.
So in the user side, like I call it AI, but the user doesn't care. What he needs is multiple jobs to be done in order to orchestrate a deal. Now, taking it back to the technological reference, so the AI knows how to sort very well. It knows how to take insights, understand context, and digest it all and bring it back. Right? Think about the LLMs that currently working. So we took the current capabilities of AI and built an orchestration of agents that are enabled to, and this is the jobs to be done, right? We're enabled to take an Excel sheet, to enrich it with data, like putting in pictures, putting it data from multiple sources across the web, so you don't have to open tabs and do cross comparison.
Yeah.
And we enable the ability for a retailer to just write in whatever he likes and see a legit supplier with all the data that he needs, and he wrote it in plain, and he can refine on and on and on. So what I mean by that, just to close the question, is the AI for itself, its capabilities serves a certain purpose, like a certain job to be done. And when this job to be done happens, so the user is satisfied and uses the software, uses the AI. Yeah. And this is how AI keeps retention. But it's not because it's AI. It's because it serves a purpose, a very clear one.
Yeah, no, and I love that. That is basically whatever the client may need. Basically, they type it in, and the AI is going to take care of it to a certain point. And that's how you're keeping the client happy. Man, that is awesome, man. And I want to tell you that this has been an awesome conversation. I love what you guys are building, and thank you for showing that AI can make a difference in the wholesale world and efficient at the same time, just like a human, but also taking time off to make it a little bit more strategic. I would say that for the people that's using it. Where can people find you or learn more about Bazarr.ai and connect with you?
Amazing. So as you can see right now on the screen, so you have both my name, which you can search on any social, probably LinkedIn, if you want to contact with me professionally. And you also have the name Bazarr.ai, which is Bazarr.ai. You write it down and you land in the landing page, and you can dive right in Buzz. This is the agent, Buzz, for free. Just click get started and you jump right into the product. Simple as that.
No, awesome. And I gotta ask, man, did you guys come out with Bazarr.ai because of like the bazaars where people go and buy things? That is amazing, brother. That is that is amazing.
It's a nice story. So Bazarr, it is like the origin is the double A. It's the oldest. It's from 1451, the oldest wholesale marketplace from Turkey. Wow. And we did Bazarr with double R to imply that this is the new era of wholesale.
That is awesome, man. That I love it, man. But once again, Mr. Alon, I want to say thank you for joining us. I love what you're building with Bazarr.ai and the way that you're rethinking how AI can strengthen relationships and not replace them. But also, I want to say thank you to show like everyone that's listening that when you start a company, is not just about, hey, start a company and then put people in place and let them do the work. No, it's about you leading and being the forefront of the company. What you mentioned, and I hope the listeners took away from, was that you guys started, you went from 80% churn, and I can tell in your mind, you was like, okay, you know what? Something needs to flip. What happened? That flip was you being the forefront, you going out there, meeting with these people that need to get things done. You're demoing, you're finding out, okay, why is people leaving my platform? A lot of people don't think about that. They probably think like, why is my platform not working? And they probably add more money into building the same thing that's making it worse. Or, a lot of people might give up. What you did was, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put my boots on. I'm going to go talk to these people. I'm going to make it very simplistic so that they can use the platform. And now everything is moving in the right direction to where now you're working on turning that AI into you, basically, to where you have that in the forefront so that you can basically say you're still speaking to the CEO because it's your mind that's planning into that AI, which is honestly amazing. I want to say once again, thank you so much for getting onto the call. Everyone, please go check out Bazarr.ai. Also, please go check out his LinkedIn, connect with him, ask him questions, just find out what he can help you with because he's open. As you can see, he's open to help change the community, help change young entrepreneurs, but also honestly, he's just there, great mind and a great person to follow that you're looking for as I would say any young person looking to become an entrepreneur, reach out to him because he's a good role model to have as well. So, Mr. Alon, thank you so much once again for being on the podcast, and I'll be in contact with you soon.
Jeff, thank you very much. You literally took the words out of my mouth. Anybody that I want help, just generally ask question. I'd love to help you for free. I will find the time for you. So thank you very much for hosting me, Jeff.
No, you're very welcome. I'm glad to have you. Take care.